The forces of evil are on the march, and the men of Gondor hold the high ground. They will prevent the enemy from overrunning their position. If death takes them, then they will fight on harder. Hey, how's it going, guys? I have no idea what that intro was, but we're just going to go ahead and roll with it. We are back with some more Total War Rise of Mordor, and today we have an epic online battle, a 3 vs 3, 3 stacks from Mordor, 3 stacks of Gondor. The Gondorians hold an epic position, ready to defend to the last man, so it should be very, very exciting. If you guys are enjoying these replays and you want to see more humongous battles, make sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below and hit that subscribe button. These battles are sent in to me over on my Discord, so I really appreciate the people who played in them and decided to send them in my way. Keep them coming, and obviously if they see that you guys are really enjoying the battles, they're more likely to do more like this. So yeah, definitely keep them coming my way. These big battles, you know, around about 30 minutes is the perfect time for an epic showdown. As well as that, Rise of Mordor is actually having a really good kind of couple months in development. Actually, they've been live streaming all over their Discord and over on their YouTube channel, which is awesome. We're actually getting to see a lot of work going on actually on the models. The dwarves are getting a ton of extra units, so hopefully in the next couple months I'll be able to show you guys some awesome new assets. I can't wait to play some more dwarven factions, and yeah, it seems like the team is really hitting their groove, which is super exciting. So if we go ahead and take a look at the forces of evil, over on this far left hand side we do have a handful of units of the guards of the teeth. This is one of the new units. If I just pause it really quickly so you guys can take a look at it, these are the guards of the teeth, one of the new Rise of Mordor units that was added in the most recent patch, and yeah, they look great. It's kind of like the mouth of Sauron's private guard. They look really cool. We also do just have some Uruk spears moving over into position, which is great, supported by some Uruk archers, and we also have some Haradrim cavalry as well, the vassal cavalry moving in. The cavalry is not going to be super useful in this engagement just because there's not really a lot of space to move around. However, they could find themselves being smashed by all the cavalry over on this side for Gondor. They've set themselves up a nice little wedge formation just to go flying in here, I guess a reverse wedge almost, and that'll be interesting to hit it up. We also have some more reinforcements here, so we have some of the Servants of the Eye. This is a pretty big contingent of Servants of the Eye. These guys are the heavy elite shot cavalry, or melee cavalry I should say, of Mordor, so a really scary force, not something you really want to get stuck into. And they also have 4 units of Uruk Throng just behind that. We have some more cavalry and an entire another force of Mordor right there, a Mordor Legion, who are basically just defending. It seems like what the attackers are planning on doing is they're going to just kind of hold a really defensive position in this mountain pass and then really push up where they can, obviously advancing soldiers through this gap, and then try their best to kind of overrun the forces whilst just holding this line, preventing the enemy cavalry from coming in, because I can only imagine Gondor does have some pretty scary cavalry moving into position here, trying their best to obviously get as far forward as they can. Also, I have no idea why the sound wasn't working better for the troops. I only muted the music because it's copywritten, so I can't play it, unfortunately. But you guys should be hearing my own music, well, not my own music, but music from the Rise of Mordor official soundtrack made by some awesome composers, which is what I generally do listen to. So for Gondor, we just have some Ringlow Vale swordsmen scattered here with some Pillar Nagith and Spearman again. I butcher that name every single time. But these guys are basically going to be holding this flank, supported by some Aphelion Rangers. Then we also have the main Gondorian force here, which is actually backing off right now. We can triple speed it whilst everyone's moving into position. But it seems like Gondor are actually falling back, seeing that Mordor are playing very aggressive on this flank and not necessarily looking to assault the other side. But the forces of Gondor are actually looking to fall back and actually get into a much stronger position over on this side as the cavalry continue to arch their way forward. And I'm very interested to see, because obviously if the Gondor cavalry isn't careful, it's going to find itself very much segregated from the rest of the army. One last thing as well before we probably skip ahead to the start of the battle, we do have a very cool custom map as well. This is one of the newer maps in the mod. I'm not sure where it's supposed to be. It kind of does look like it's from a place in Rohan, and more custom maps like this are really cool. You know, there's I don't want to call it simple because obviously the modders spent a lot of time working on it, but it's, you know, it's not like a lavish siege map. It's just a very cool battle map where you kind of get a nice feel. It kind of doesn't feel like it's in Europe. This feels like a Middle-earth map. So I want to give the map modder props, and hopefully we can get a ton more maps like this one, which are, you know, simple in a sense, but do a very, very cool thing, and yeah, it gives a really nice aesthetic to a battle. So let's jump ahead until we start getting some infantry engagements, and then I'll bring it back to you guys. Okay, the forces are moving in. It does seem like Mordor has decided to push up their battle line a little bit. And that's going to go ahead and allow the Aphelion Rangers over this side to start popping off some shots. Obviously, as the enemy get closer and closer, these guys will be really effective. And one of the great things about the Aphelion Archers is they actually have the stalk ability, which means they stay hidden whilst they shoot unless you get a lot closer to them. So they can basically just shoot off volley after volley from the wings, and there's not really much play to counter fire onto them. So it's a very hard unit to deal with. We are getting some missile fire coming in here from the Uruk Throng. The Uruk Throngs are going to do a ton of damage to the spearmen. They obviously have some pretty decent heated shields which are going to protect them from the incoming missile fire. They're also in a shield wall as well, so their missile block chance is actually up to 60 because of his shield wall, so they're going to be in a good position to kind of really repel this. But this is kind of, you know, signaling the start of the battle. We also have some archers being brought up here as well, and as you can see, that is a hefty Gondorian position right there as these Uruk Throng set themselves up. Obviously going to be just kind of, you know, flattening their formation out and then volleying in, probably, I assume, onto the awesome looking Gondorian archers who are going to be firing in. But, you know, I bet you Mordor wish they had some form of artillery right now, because my god, are the Gondorians bunched up. Some artillery rounds in here would be absolutely devastating. They really would. And here we go. Gondor's about to unleash another volley. Don't really know why the guys in the front aren't volleying. But seemingly they are deciding not to, and obviously we are getting missile fire coming in as well. So far, the forces of Gondor obviously have a very good defensive position with this entire enclosed place really being punishing. Honestly, it would probably be a better idea for the Gondorians for the forces of evil to commit way more men to this position, because right now Gondor is straight up camping in this inner position right now. Yeah, this is basically a massive noob box, and it's gonna be hard for the Gondorians to not lose this one, honestly, playing this of a high defensive position. However, you know, the forces of evil obviously got a little bit more money. They outnumber them by 2,000 men, and realistically what they need to do is they need to win these cavalry engagements, because then they can really abuse the strength of cavalry in this mod and just hammer and anvil into these swordsmen, then pull out and then charge in again, and you'll weaken these guys down pretty effectively. Luckily, you know, in this there are plenty of places to attack. Also, is this... I assume you can't go through this, yeah. I mean, I would assume you can't go through this, but it's seemingly like the Uruks are. Maybe they can... No, okay, good. For a second, I was like, oh, they're going to be able to, like, come around the flank there, but it doesn't seem like that will be the case. And here we go. Gondor is just pouring volley after volley. The Aphelion Rangers sniping away at the incoming Mordor forces. And this is truly a battle for Middle-earth right here. The arrow fire coming in. I imagine their main focus will be onto the halberds and the Orc Pillagers. The Orc Pillagers is definitely one of my favorite units in the Orc roster. They're just such a cost-effective unit. Sorry, let me get the good side. Okay, cool. It's just always have to make sure that I'm getting the good side of Mordor and of Attila, because this side is really bright and this side is really dark, for whatever reason. But hopefully they have said in a recent update on their Discord, their dev blog, they are looking to improve the lighting of the game, which I really hope they can. If they could just get the game to look like this across the board in a 360, like, that'd be really good. Because it's just whenever you kind of just catch for bad lighting, and all of a sudden you're looking like this, and then YouTube compresses the crap out of the darkness, and it just doesn't ever really look great. But if they can get, like, just the good side, like this brightness, oh baby, that'd be pretty juicy indeed. There's a lot of arrow fire going down onto the Gondorian archers, and that is going to repel them back. You've got Uruks charging in on every single side, but they are fighting fortified Gondorian warriors who aren't going to go down without a fight. The Orcs over on this side have actually managed to catch some of the enemy cavalry, and are going to get a really nice charge here. The Servants of the Eye come flying in, and pinning that unit of cavalry down is going to be painful, especially as these Gondorian horses try and get out, but they're running into the Servants of the Eye, so they're going to lose a lot of soldiers as they pull out of this, and the rest of the Gondorian cavalry does go ahead and follow. But you need to be careful though, because obviously there isn't a ton of extra horse around here. A lot of the horses have been sent over here to kind of chase off the Gondorians. You can see there is a gigantic amount of cavalry from both sides over on this rear position, and this is a really nice, what they should really try and do honestly is just push up their infantry, hold the infantry line here to stop the cavalry from coming in, and then just use their own cavalry to smash into this box. That's what I would do, and I think it'd actually work really effectively for sure. We do have the rest of the cavalry coming over and some spears. Oh my god, actually there's a lot of cavalry here, but one of the nice things that the orcs are doing are they're reinforcing this very effectively with spears. This is one of the advantages of taking the cavalry engagement deep behind your own battle lines, is that you can reinforce this where the enemy can't. So this is going to give them a good advantage. Even though they are losing some of their units, they are also taking care of a lot of the Gondorians. And yeah, just keep on pursuing this. You have Servants of the Eye, so you're going to be able to take care of these guys. And each time the cavalry does pull out, you'll be able to just keep on chasing them. We also get some more infantry down here as well. We do just have Orc Warriors, though. The Orc Warriors are going to not do too good here. Obviously, you do have the Orc Spears, but again, they're not really a killing unit. But I guess if any units are going to fight here, it's better that these guys do than anyone else, because obviously if they were fighting Gondor swordsmen, these Orc Warriors would get absolutely massacred, whereas at least against these spearmen, they might actually stand a bit of a chance. But yeah, the Orc Warriors are simply not very good at all compared to the rest of the units. Oh, and a massive cavalry engagement going on here. Reinforcements coming in from every single side. The Orc Pillagers reinforcing, and this is going to be an important fight right now. Whoever wins this battle is definitely going to be able to take this engagement, I think. The cavalry is just so important, and so far the Southern Lancers have taken a pounding against the Gondorian horse. You can see just down this line, all of these horses are very low. We even have some Knights of the Silver Swan here as well. They could actually be Knights of Imrahil as well. I'm actually sure I can't even hover over them, but they're in there. We know they're in there somewhere. Gondor Cav, and yeah, Knights of the Silver Swan. But Mordor are able to get a lot of spears to this fight, so if they can pin down the enemy cavalry, that'd be really effective. They're also moving more and more horse around the flank here, ready to hit the enemy in the back if they can reinforce it. But as you can see, the weaker vassal Southron cavalry just don't stand a chance against the heavily armored Gondor horses whatsoever. But with the extra spears here and with the extra cavalry advantage, they're bringing around more of Servants of the Eye. This is their meaty cavalry, and if these guys can get into the back here, they can rear charge into here, they can rear charge there, or even just go on the flanks, and that can definitely turn the battle in their favor. Over on the other side as well, they actually done a pretty good job. These guards of the teeth actually managed to break this unit of Gondor spears, which is really effective, and the Gondorian morale is seemingly not holding as effectively as we would assume it would. I mean, they're already coming back, but that's allowed the forces of evil to get that extra inch closer. And I guess this is a very hefty shock block of infantry. We have guards of the teeth, we have the Orc Pillagers, so a lot of armor piercing in there, a lot of halberds, a lot of scary units. We do have the Fountain Guard being brought up. They actually don't have their pikes out yet, but they'll come out now and then descend upon the Orcs. So a unit of Fountain Guards bringing down their pikes will be pretty devastating if they can bring them pikes down. They're not down yet though, and they really do need to do so. Obviously, because if these guards of the teeth get stuck in, that's going to be absolutely devastating, and they're going to get absolutely ripped away. Over on the other side as well, we are seeing more fighting erupting, more Orc Warriors, and you can see the Orc Warriors are really struggling. However, they're actually not doing awful. For their price, I think they're actually doing okay against this unit, so maybe they buffed the Orc Warriors in the most recent patch and not made them absolutely awful, because they were very trash. Obviously nowhere near as bad as Orc Rabble, but they would get cut down by most units, and seemingly they're doing okay against the militia and the Gondor swords. Maybe that is with the support of the extra missile fire, I'm not too sure. Over on the other side as well, back to the cavalry engagement, you can see that there is a lot of horse being sent in here, a lot of swords being brought up, and again there's a lot of reinforcements. We actually have some spears here as well, which would not be bad to reinforce this section. But I mean, honestly, I think Gondor are doing a great job, but there is just a lot of cavalry here. But then again, Gondor are holding their own, so maybe they will be able to repel the enemy. Over on the far reaches of the battlefield, you can see the cavalry has been pushed completely back on this side. However, they can't continue to give ground, because sooner rather than later, this cavalry is going to come all the way around and then actually make their way into this battle here and start rear charging. And a rear charge from Servants of the Eye is just going to end the engagement. However, the forces from the Ringlow Vale and men-at-arms have actually managed to win this. Even with more soldiers arriving to the battlefield, they're able to push back Orc pillagers and a wealth of other infantry. So they are fighting for their lives to defend their lands of Gondor. And they're doing a pretty good job, even under heavy missile fire. They're not exactly doing bad whatsoever. So impressive work there as more and more reinforcements are sent into the fray. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really impressed with how well these Orc warriors have done. Again, they're not fighting the scariest men, but compared to previous patches, they're actually holding their own pretty effectively and doing some decent work, especially on this flank. I don't know what's so special about this flank, but they've done way better here than they have across the board, so who knows? Or more cavalry just smashing into one another, and I think this will be the time, like, the Sevens of the Eye will win this for sure. If we're going to lose this engagement, we've got reinforcements on the way, and even if that cavalry comes in, then these guys come in as well and finish the battle off. Over in the main cavalry engagement, we can see that the forces of Gondor seemingly are winning this. More reinforcements are turning up, but the heavy melee cavalry are doing what they do best. Even with spears being thrown into the fight, the melee cavalry is just doing a great job, even against the Servants of the Eye. You definitely cannot fault the Gondorians here whatsoever. They are fighting for their lives, and even though they're outmatched, we do actually have a unit of spears in here as well, as we are seeing the Gondorian horse fighting hard. But yeah, like even with the overwhelming infantry numbers and also the cavalry, they're actually breaking the enemy. Obviously, there are more reinforcements coming in, and there is actually the general with Citadel Guard being brought in as well, which is pretty scary. Maybe that Citadel Guard being thrown in will help turn the tide. There's just a lot of infantry for Gondor in here. There really, really is. But yeah, a lot of the Gondorian front lines are getting close to breaking, and these Fountain Guard did put their pikes down, so you can see them going in off onto the mouth, the Servants of the Mouth, Guards of the Teeth. But I don't know how effective the Fountain Guard are actually, and there's somehow the Orc Pillagers, oh right here, this is where the Orc Pillagers got around, so that's going to be very unfortunate. They managed to rout the Orc Pillagers, probably down to a lot of missile fire. There's also a lot of swords. Yeah, I guess that was a big breach in the battle line, and they were able to get some infantry down here to basically stop any reinforcements from coming in. We've got a unit of Uruk from here fighting, another unit of Fountain Guard being brought up to the fight, but that Fountain Guard is getting peppered from missile fire coming in from the other side. There's a lot of arrow fire being brought in onto them, and obviously this is the perfect unit to try and focus down. This is the exact unit you want to try and just wipe off the planet, because yeah, they're just really frustrating, especially in like a choke point battle like this. Killing that Fountain Guard is pretty important, so that's where you're seeing a lot of the missile fire being brought down. More cavalry being going in, the Servants of the Eye being sent in. I don't know, honestly, it looks like Gondor have this cavalry fight, but there's a lot of, like, it depends. If these guys all rout, then definitely Gondor has this, but if this cavalry can just stay alive, stay active, then they're definitely going to be in a very interesting situation. Over on the other side, you can see that Mordor has now broken the enemy cavalry. We kind of expected that to happen, and now they can start wrapping around and trying to help win this fight. But it does seem like one of the Gondorian generals, Knights of the Silver Swan, have made their way in, rear-charging into the Orc Warriors, and the Orc Warriors are not going to have a great morale, and that's going to probably see them off. Obviously, this Knight of the Silver Swan is a very deadly unit, able to fend off the Servants of the Eye. Two very, very strong melee cavalry. They kind of do very much mirror each other in quality. But obviously there's a lot more infantry here as well. So yeah, the Gondorians have basically won this. Obviously Mordor have won over on this side right here. However, by the time they get here, it's going to not look too good, and these forces can start to pull back, I guess, into the main formation. However, this side has been looking a bit shaky as well. A lot of archers coming in, but unless they can break, oh, they're close to breaking this unit of Gondor swords of 87 men. That's brutal. If this unit breaks, you can see the Gondorians realizing this as well and quite quickly reforming that battle line. However, I don't think they'll be able to form a shield wall because they're already engaged, so reforming that line is going to be pretty telling. I mean, honestly, these Orc warriors, this Gondor line is not very thick, and you can see the Orcs are pulling through. Now, you'll be able to see in a second the kills that this unit of Gondor swords will be getting. Gondor swords absolutely slaughter pulling through units. It's an absolute massacre when you try and pull through. I don't think they even were though. I think they were just trying to attack. But yeah, you'll see this unit of Gondor swords get a lot of kills. And this is a really nice position. A lot of missile fire coming down here. But as well as that, the Gondorian units are doing a pretty good job. The Founding Guard are holding the line, doing what they do best. Keeping the enemy at a distance as best as they can. But look at that balance of power bar. My god, Gondor are running out of men. And this just goes to show the numbers of Mordor really do come into play in a battle like this. Able to really push in. And I mean, honestly, as soon as this breaks, as soon as this unit of Gondor swords breaks, the floodgates are going to be open. How's the cavalry fight going? Yeah, I guess Mordor have won this now, but not massively, honestly. I think with the support of all the extra infantry, I mean, actually, no, Gondor have won this for sure. Gondor are in the red. And that's going to give them some time to actually come and reinforce this section. However, obviously, we're going to have a lot of units moving in. And, oh my god, how did Mordor win this fight over here? I really was assuming that the Orc warriors would just all mass rout when the Gondor general broke, but I guess with the cavalry must have turned up and got a lot of kills. How many kills are these cavalry on? Not even that many. Okay, this general unit is on 100, which is pretty impressive. This one's on 104. I guess the cavalry turned up and were able to recharge the rest of the Marines and really send them to the abyss and break them. Yeah, and as you can see, more units are coming in right now. So this is not looking good for Gondor in the slightest. More of these halberds moving in. These halberds have actually done a pretty good job. I think they've been the main focus point of a lot of the missile fire. So they've actually done a pretty good job at repelling the enemy and not just getting mincemeated by all this cavalry. So Gondor are going to have to really try and retreat back these. I say Gondor have won this. They have the infantry here to turn it, but the cavalry is looking pretty even. And even though this general Knight of the Silver Swan unit who has 214 kills is rushing over here, by the time they get here, they're going to be exhausted. You can also see just the battle unfolding back there. So many bodies just piling up. And they're trying to get here, but an exhausted charge is not very useful at this point in the battle. They're going to be moving in, and yeah, as you can see, they are actually only active. And here you go, they're going to go flying in there. Just trying to kind of pick off the enemy general, but general is pretty low. He is shaken as well, so it's a pretty good chance that they will kill this guy. Now that's going to free up a lot of cavalry to then send back in. And there you go, yeah, the general has now been killed. However, the pursuit is coming in, more cavalry arriving. And yeah, as you can see, there is a pretty big gap here. This unit of Citadel Guard is holding, but again, it is Citadel Guard, but it's only 2 ranks deep, and I think you could probably just break through it with a charge. I think the cavalry could take them down, but the cavalry is not even going to try to. There's just a big old gaping gap here, which they're going to obviously exploit. I mean, as soon as these guys move, oh, really nice move here. As soon as they decide to move, no charge. Oh, that would have been such a good charge. As soon as these Citadel Guard reform and break shield wall, that would have torn them apart. They're in 2 ranks. That's unfortunate. But obviously, when you're microing these big battles, it is very hard to do that. And there you go. The floodgates are open. The MG are just pouring through here, and Gondor are in basically a very, very bad situation now. The forces of Mordor are just ripping through these routing soldiers. The Orc warriors moving in. And for me, the Orc warriors have really been the MVPs of these battles. Like, realistically, they've done a great job. For their cost price, they've done really, really good. And I am super impressed with their performance this day. But it's not going to be good enough, I don't think, to defeat all these soldiers. We're going to need some support by that cavalry coming in. How many men do the men of Gondor actually have left now? They still have 1,500 soldiers, so they still have a wealthy amount. And this cavalry is winning, so like this cavalry fight did go in their favor. You can see the cavalry coming in now, able to break some of these weakened Uruk Throng units and also the Uruk Spears. And we're going to be able to set up a last stand, obviously. So a few units back here as well that have come back from routing. Obviously, just a unit going to be set up. The units of Uruk Throng sent back to deal with these guys. Should be more than capable of dealing with them. They're going to form a shield wall or just take the charge? They're going to charge themselves. No, actually, no, we're going to form a shield wall. I don't even know what they formed. Just going to engage the enemy. Take them on that side. And they'll be able to deal with them. Obviously, they've also got way more reinforcements than they need to. Just 1 or 2 units would do enough. Even that Uruk Throng spear unit can deal with them. They really need to put the pressure on here. Citadel Guard have set up and they formed a square. This is going to take a while for the Orcs to break through. But just leave the halberds to do it, or the shock infantry. Like the Orc pillagers, just let them have their time and they'll cut through them. pretty quickly. The rest of the fight, though, is going to be under a lot of pressure. The Gondorians are forming up their last real stand, but with all these reinforcements coming in, yeah, they just don't really stand a chance. Fighting back to back right now up the hill, every soldier fighting so bravely to the last man. And luckily there's no cavalry at the moment to hit these guys. Obviously we've got the cavalry wrapping its way around here. Obviously as soon as these guys turn up, it's going to look pretty shaky, because one rear charge here is going to definitely break the Gondorians. And you can see the Gondorians are fighting with their backs up against the mountain. There is no escape. These Citadel Guards will hold the line for a long time, which is probably why this battle goes on for 7 minutes. And you can see they literally just ignore this unit of Citadel Guard. There's no point fighting it, so they might as well just move over here. And here you go. Yeah, more cavalry coming in here from Gondor, just trying to do any damage they can to these Orc warriors. As I guess as Gandalf would say, there's always hope, if only a fool's hope, as they try and rip these guys around. So obviously bringing down these swords are going to be their #1 priority, something that they're more than capable of doing, especially once these cavalry turn up. This cavalry is exhausted. It needs time to rest before moving, and I imagine a lot of this force needs time to rest. The Citadel Guard have actually also formed up. There is also a unit of Gondor Knights of the Silver Swan here, which could do some damage if they get some good charges off. So, you know, this battle is definitely not over yet. I mean, there's 900 men left, so it's not even looking too good, but you never know. Maybe Gondor can pull something out the bag. This cavalry's coming in. All the archer fire moving in, but that's a lot of missile fire. And actually just scaring off the enemy general before he could even get a charge off. Knights of the Silver Swan as well. Sorry, the Citadel Guard moving in. Unfortunately, though, they're no longer in square, and they're going to start dying probably pretty quickly. One of the enemy generals also goes down. And these missiles are just moving up to shoot these guys. There's no need to really fight them, so I think these archers are going to come up and just start hitting away at them, really start to take the casualties. And the unit Citadel Guard are going to be completely surrounded. All the infantry just charging in now from every single flank. Got halberds holding them in the front and the Oak Throng in the back. Their numbers are going to be dropping pretty quickly. And this is one of the reasons I always love to put the Citadel Guard on the front line towards the beginning of the battle. Because towards the end of the battle, you've either won it pretty decisively, or like you're losing, and the Citadel Guard's not going to make a big difference, and your opponent's just going to ignore them because they're such a strong unit. So that's why I always like to kind of use these guys fairly quickly. Because yeah, this point in the battle, like the Citadel Guard is just going to be useless. The battle's already lost, right? Whereas if you use them like at the beginning of the battle, like here, the enemy kind of have to go through them, and you just get your money's worth from them. I mean, like, and you can see right now, they're doing an amazing job. 121 of them left, and they're holding back from all of this. Like, you know, the cavalry still being super scary, but it's just not quite enough, is it? Like, and at this point, it's a bit too late to really throw them in. As you get the Gondorians, you can see the devastating charge right there. The Gondorian cavalry, with only 12 of them left, rip through that Oak Throng unit like it was butter. All the archer fire coming in right now, and I feel like Faramir, as we charge forward onto certain death. The halberds just getting their weapons down, able to repel the enemy cavalry charge very, very effectively. And the rest of the enemy force is just getting absolutely smashed by missile fire. You're going to see it momentarily. All this archer fire just trained in here, and I guess the defenders can either decide to sit here and take it. I mean, they are on a shield wall. They do have 85 missile block chance, which is absolutely disgusting, but you know, when you've got 4, 5, 6, 700 arrows being volleyed at you every single 10 seconds, it's going to start to find their mark, and they're going to be able to start racking up some decent kills. More soldiers being brought in as well. Look at that, Citadel Guard is up to 70 kills now as it's fighting on to the last, with only 2 minutes left of this battle. But what a great battle this was. Really, really cool. Again, I love this map. The map really made this battle, I think. It was just a really, really cool engagement. Definitely very Rohan-esque. And let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the map and also of the battle. And let me know also what you'd like to see in the next one. Obviously, I want to keep on doing more and more Rise of Mordor. It's a big staple of the channel. I'm obviously a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so are you guys. So I would love to, do more of this stuff. So let me know what you guys want to see on the channel, and I'm sure people who are playing these battles would read the comments and be like, oh cool, let's maybe do this battle, let's do that battle. I know in the new patch as well, there's a really cool Esgaroth map, not Esgaroth, is it Esgaroth or is it Dale? I think it's actually the new like Dale, back when Dale was not destroyed by Smaug, so it's like a very lavish city. which will be very, very dope to do a battle on. You know, Dale in its prime will be awesome, and I think that's coming in the new update along with a couple other maps which we'll have to show off onto the channel. But as you can see, the Citadel Guard line is slowly breaking. These halberds are now being brought in. Big play there from both the players. Obviously, these Orc Pikes and the halberds have really done a great job in this battle. And under all this missile fire, you can see the forces of Gondor are just dropping down. The Citadel Guard finally broke here and only got 92 kills in the end. Unfortunately, that morale really coming in big, and you can just see the weight of the Gondorians being pushed in here. And Pikes are such an effective unit to deal with the Citadel Guard, because they can basically just hit freely on the enemy line, and the Citadel Guard just can't get really many attacks in. The Pikes obviously using that length of their weapon to hammer away at the enemy. You can see their numbers dropping. That morale, I assume, is only going to break soon. Yeah, you can see the morale just all of a sudden tanking as army attrition and the realization that they're going to not win this battle kicks in. An Pyrrhic victory indeed. So as I said, big shout out to everyone who played in this battle, and obviously Vini as well for sending this one into me. And yeah, the Guards of the Teeth, the MVPs of the army, really able just to do some serious work in this battle. And even these Orc warriors kind of doing what Orc warriors should be able to do. Like this, like I never liked how the Orc warriors themselves and kind of the units around them were just utter trash. They are basically useless. Like the Orc warrior shouldn't be as good as a Gondor sword, but they should be able to like test the Gondor sword, in my opinion. You know, they should be able to do like half damage to it, but obviously inevitably lose in the engagement. That's why I kind of feel like Orc warriors are, you know, they're not a match for the Gondorians, but they're not so outmatched that they're not going to do anything to them. So I'd like to see, you know, Orc warriors, if they have been buffed, that's great, or just receive a little bit of a buff to make them a little bit more competitive and help you fill out the Mordor roster, because I hate just seeing a full army of Uruk Throng just, you know, covered in armor, head to toe. Like, I want to see, you know, numbers, Orc warriors, Orc rabble, and actually find them doing their job and doing their work, which would be exciting. Over on the Gondorian side of things, again, no one really racking up a lot of kills. We saw a couple 200 kills, yeah, and definitely this general unit, over 300 kills, pretty impressive. So if you guys enjoyed this battle, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.